This is a Headgum podcast.
Hey bitch, what is your whole deal? Hey bitch, just tell us how you feel. You wished for a sign from above. Well, here's a podcast about boy sex, fucking, dating, and love. Seek treatment if you're boring as fuck. Seek treatment if you're unlucky in love. Seek treatment if you just can't take a hint. Well, seek treatment with Kat and Pat.
Hey, it's an exciting new product we're bringing to market just for horses. We are so excited to bring this product to market for horses all over the country. They can eat it or just serve it to friends if it's not within their dietary restrictions, but it generally is because hay is for horses. I'm Pat.
Hey, this is Kitty Cat Cappuccino.
And I'm Pat Regan.
And this is Seek Treatment, a podcast about boys, sex, fucking, dating, and love. We are literally live in the studio with one of my favorite artists, writers, poets of all time. Put your ears open for Alex Dimitrov.
That's so sweet.
Hey.
Hi.
How are
you?
How am I?
First of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations, the book's out.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
It feels like you've I don't know, like you've shot your load. I don't know. It's like, it's weird. You know, it's like you have it for so long to yourself. And then it's like just out there and it's a little anticlimactic, you know?
How long were you working on it, can I ask?
Yeah, I mean, I usually tend to publish a book every 4 years. So I tend to work on them for 2.5, 3 years. And then it does its own thing in production. I always say my favorite part is writing a book. My least favorite part is when a book comes out. Not because I don't like everyone to have it. It's just I feel like okay, what's next? You know?
Totally.
Yeah, always. And what, if I may ask, is behind you?
My books, my TV, and then this painting.
The TV.
Look at how insane this TV background is. I don't know. It just turns on. I have no idea what it does. Should I
you know that my
move?
TV,
Okay,
I don't even know how to. No, you're perfect.
Okay.
I love the books.
Oh yeah.
You're a little blurry, but I think we're okay.
A little blurry. Should I come forward? I don't know.
Is he blurry for you, Pat?
A little bit.
But it's okay.
I could see through the blur.
Wait, what number book is this for you? You're so prolific.
It's the 4th, even though the New York Times got it kind of wrong and said the 5th, but they're counting this other mini book that I have, so I didn't want to correct anybody. So it's the 4th.
Yeah, the New York Times.
Well, when they give you a rave, you don't correct them, babe. You don't correct them when they give you a rave.
Wait, tell me a little bit about your book.
It's called.
Well, it's the most beautiful poems in the world.
You're so nice. It's called Ecstasy, and it's just a lot of stuff. It's sort of my first really queer book, I would say. In that, I mean, I've always been queer, but I haven't really written about sex as explicitly, and Catholicism as explicitly, and it's sort of the first book I wrote after, obviously the first book I wrote after COVID, and I was thinking that I was going to move to Miami. And so I spent a lot of time there and a lot of the poems are written there. So it feels really different than the other books because it's just, it just feels more indulgent.
Why did you think you were going to move to Miami?
Because I could not deal being cramped in my little studio. I mean, I moved to the Upper West after that, but I was living in the Upper East in the studio, and then I was there through all of COVID, and it drove me absolutely nuts, and the restrictions were horrible. And I was like, you know what? I know a very godless, lawless place. It's called Miami.
Yeah. Do you know what Aviva Drescher once said?
What?
Aviva Drescher once said on Real Houses of New York that Miami's basically in New York because door to door it's the same as going to the Hamptons.
I mean, it could be. Yeah.
Wow. I disagree.
I think it could be.
I think for a certain group of people in New York, status is everything, and going to Miami is the same as going to the Hamptons door to door.
Wait, but what I was going to say
Alex,
is, Pat.
I know, but I have a true question to Alex.
Okay, you're truer than me. You're truer.
Because I'm putting my interview Barbara Walters hat on, like they want us to do.
Totally. Yeah.
Alex, what made cooler heads prevail and you scurry back to New York City with your tail twixt your legs?
I mean, I would have. I wouldn't describe it as that, but I don't know, like I got tired of it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I think I have Stockholm syndrome with New York. I think I wanted to leave it so many times. I was gonna leave it for LA, but then I didn't. And I'm always like, I can't leave it for LA. I'm not an actor, and I'm not in the industry, so it just feels really stupid to be there as a poet. And so that always prevents me. But I don't know. I just feel like every time I want to leave New York, something stops me. And I really do feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with it, but that's everybody.
And also, everyone in LA, for one, came from New York. It's so funny whenever you meet anyone, like they're like, "Oh my God, you used to live in New York." I used to live in New York. They say it as though you're like secret sisters because of this shared this shared past. And I always want to do a bit where I'm at a party when I say, "All right, I want all the New York transplants in a picture together." And make everyone who used to live in New York get a picture. But also everyone's always like, literally every person's like, I want to move back to New York, I think. Everyone says that, and you see them 6 months later.
But you used to
And
live in
guess
New
what
York,
else
yeah?
about LA?
Yeah, and I'll go back at
Pat's
some
New
point.
York. He's through and through. He's through and through New York. He's coming back soon.
I'm not myself here, of course.
Well, when you go to LA, every single person, first of all, they're all lying because you get there and everyone's like, I just sold this huge show. And you're like, where is it?
I know.
Where is it?
I always
Everyone
say,
I know has sold 7 huge shows. I go, where are they?
it's the famous question, and is this pilot you sold in the room with us right now?
I don't know how people live in that town. Just like this amorphous, like working, but not really working. Like, I don't know. Like, do things ever happen in LA? Like, do the things get made ever?
I don't know. Like,
Pat works on one of the only shows that's on air. There's like 3 of them.
I will say that, like,
So that helps.
my main thing, it's like everyone is sort of, no one ever, I think it's really nebulous to feel in the industry. Do you know what I mean? No matter how high up you get. And like, I do notice that gay men all over town and this isn't specific to gays, but I guess mostly who I talk to, it's like, everyone's kind of trying to like prove it all the time that they're in it by talking to you about the things that they think only industry people would talk about. I don't even think they care, or it's even like I'm trying to network, or it's like everyone here only cares about the industry. I think everyone is having a small existential crisis of like, am I part of it? And like, if I were, wouldn't I talk about this sort of thing? And shouldn't I talk this about this person? And then, and I don't care as much about that right now. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know about that stuff you're talking about. And they seem always kind of like jarred that I'm not at least pretending that these are the things we talk about. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
I can imagine. I mean, it's sort of like the same here, like as a writer, like in like publishing and whatever, academia, whatever little circle you have, people are always sort of like, I don't know, they have like a weird script. I mean, it's not like I've ever had one, but like, it's almost like you're at a party and, you know, like, did you read this thing or did you see that? And it's just, I mean, I guess it's how all communities work, I guess, in some ways.
Everyone wants to feel like the world is a little bit smaller. And the only way to do that is to act like you all have shared something. And so it's like, I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Well, on this pod, we only ask one question, and that's, who were you? Who are you?
And who do you want to be?
Wow.
So, take us to the very beginning.
That's so deep. You know, I was thinking when you just said that, I feel like I was bothered. I'm less bothered. I would like to be unbothered entirely.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Let's make shirts. I know.
What are you bothered by?
It's so hard not to be.
What are you
it's so
bothered
hard
by?
not to be bothered.
What bothers you?
New segment.
What's bothering you?
What's bothering me? I'm not bothered anymore by the fact that I'm single. In fact, I'm really enjoying that. I used to be very bothered by, you know, like the whole romantic thing. I think I'm bothered now by, it's like, I don't know. It's like, do I still have to do this every day? That sounds suicidal. But it's like,
I know.
You know,
I
it's
know.
like this again.
You're in there, honey. You're in the right place.
You know, it's like, God. But I mean, I think like all artists feel that way, to be honest. And if I didn't feel that way, what would I think? Like, oh, I'm going to my 9-to-5 job and clocking in and then just going home to cook. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I think there's a kind of like any way that comes with being an artist that like you just can't get rid of it.
I know. It must be nice not to have that. I think
I'd love to be normal.
I would love to. I think that I would have less like existential worry, even if like I think all of my aging fear comes not even from like being single or wanting to remain like sexually viable in some way, but it's more attached like, oh gosh, now I'm this age and I haven't made like something. I haven't made a true thing. That's
Oh my
true
God.
thing. You know
Okay,
what I
I'm
mean?
40, so I feel like that's the ultimate age where you have to freak the fuck out.
But you've made so many true things.
And you have 4 books, and I'm 36 plus.
And some might say 5.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Catherine, don't believe everything you read, okay?
I work for the New York Times.
wait, Pat, let's go back to something you said. So your fear, like what was yours? Like being sexually viable? Is that one of them?
No, I was saying that's, I think, what I've, in some ways, like, just, yeah, I think I'm realizing it's not that. It's like, of course, you're like, oh gosh, I'm 36, I'm alone. And what if I'll get older like everyone. And like, will I be able to attract a partner? You know, those kinds of questions. But actually, I don't care so much about those. It's more so like, I am getting older. I haven't like made something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
I feel like that's something that even if you've made things, you're like, have I made the right thing? Have I made the big thing? Have I?
100%.
It's like
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
end. And I don't know. I feel like I have less wisdom and advice to give people the older I get. Like when I turned 40, I was like, oh, I have 4 books. I'm 40. And like, it's not that I'm not proud of them, but I'm like, well, what's next? Like, what else? What else? You know?
Yeah.
I know. I think unless you literally executive produce the show Friends,
I know.
you don't feel like satisfied. Because I'm just like, whenever you put something out, you really think it'll like level up or it'll be the next thing, and then everything's basically, it's fun, but everything is the same, and you are back at square one in terms of like what's the next creative pursuit.
I did this set on Saturday, and like they filmed it, and it's like fun-ish new stuff. Nothing's that polished, but I'm like, do I post it? Like, do I post clips? And it's like, of course I want them. They're all totally fine, but like because I never post clips, so you think I should start with clips I really love.
Why do you never post clips?
Well, my stand-up like practices are very ebb and flow. Like I'll go through long periods of not doing it very often, and then even when I do it, I'm not filming it a lot. So it's rare for me to like get an email from the place I did it. They're like, "Here's a video of your set." Like, so to come out strong with like these clips and then have them be like not my favorite clips feels stupid, you know.
You just have to. I just feel like the only thing I've learned is to be what's the opposite of precious?
I don't know. You have to be the opposite
Come on,
of precious.
we have a poet here. The opposite of precious.
Just
so like careless,
undiscerning.
Yeah, loose.
Yeah.
Loose.
I feel like I
You have to
felt
be
that.
loose with it.
I feel that with your subset, Kat, and I feel that everywhere else too.
If really, you're definitely not precious. This is really undiscerning.
Where's the lie?
But it works because I feel like there's a level of authenticity that translates when you do something like that. And I actually think that all of us, obviously, because of the way we engage, we're moving toward a place where like if like your viewer or your audience doesn't buy it or think it's authentic in the first 10 seconds, they just move on.
Totally. I also think, there's enough things that I can be precious about, like enough like year-long projects or whatever. It's like, I just want to force myself to throw shit out there, daily, weekly, so that every now and then something in there feels like worth saving. You know what I mean?
Totally.
No. So I think, Pat, just post away. But that's why I literally hired someone to post for me, because it does feel painful every time you do it and you don't feel 100% obsessed with it.
I know. Now, Alex, where are you from? And don't lie, because I'm going to find out the truth no matter what.
Oh my God, why would I lie though? Like, what could happen?
Why would I lie about something dumb like that? Remember that song?
Why would I lie?
When anything at all, first the
What
window,
song is that?
then it's to the wall. Little John, he always tells. It's Oxford Comma.
Oh my God, Vampire
I
Weekend.
know, they're like back. They're back in the mix. Like I'm seeing them on billboards.
I'm such a super fan of them, but their latest records, as they say in the industry, don't hit for me.
Their latest records.
They're just like,
that's what they say.
They just had their foot
babe.
on 2009's throat in such a way.
The way my senior year spring break trip was absolutely Cape Cod, Kwasa Kwasa.
There's someone I see always around, like Sunset, who like either is Ezra Koenig or looks a lot like him. And
Guess what? I'm sure it's him.
I bet it is. Like, I wouldn't put it past him for it to be him.
Really? Okay, so where are you from?
Yeah, seriously.
On that note.
On that note, I grew up in Detroit. So, yeah.
Wow.
I've lived here for like 16 years. So I came here. I went to Sarah Lawrence for grad school. I got my MFA in poetry. And
Did you know that? Well, then I have to ask, did you know them?
Oh, stop.
The dad and the
Did
daughter.
you know that?
The dad, the daughter, and their friends.
Were you in the yard work cult? Were you in the yard work
funny.
cult?
No, not at all. And I feel like it was like a whole different vibe when I went. But yeah, I feel like I am from Detroit, but I feel like Detroit's like cooler now. And people keep like the last 5 years when I tell people I'm from Detroit, New York, they're like, oh wow, that's cool. And I'm like, it's really not. And so I don't know what's happened over there. Like, I feel like they're trying to make it like a livable city for artists, but like, why would you live there? So I don't know.
What were you like in high school?
This is so funny. I was on a date last night and someone he asked me that, and no one's ever asked me that on a date because I feel like it's such a...
It was me in a way.
It was you.
That's it. People say we don't prepare for this podcast. We go on dates with our guests in wigs the night before to set up questions.
Well, you were really cute, Kat. You were very cute then.
Oh, you went on a date last night.
I know, it was...
Obviously, we'll get derailed.
Yeah. What was I like in high school?
How did you meet him?
How did I meet him? Instagram. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you DM or did he DM?
I think that he followed and I DM'd, but I don't always notice my follows. I'm more like obsessed with like, okay, who's looking at my story? And I like never look at like who followed me. And for whatever reason that day, I was like super bored and like depressed. And I was like, who is this person? And then I just like slid into his DMs. But this was over the summer. It took like a long time for it to come to fruition. And I also just like don't like to call things dates because I'm so much more jaded now. So he kept on saying the whole time, like, oh, like, you know, so he kept referring to it as a date. And I
think that's good.
I didn't want to be that asshole who was like, is this? Because, you know, it's like, I don't know.
I know, but he was saying for him it is. So then there's no, or at least you have clarity on what it is for him.
I know. That's very true. Who was I in high school? I was...
Fuck my drag.
I was goth.
Was there chem?
I was goth the first 2 years.
Oh, God. Oh, you were goth.
Yeah, and then the last 2 years I did a whole like 180 or 360, and I was voted best dressed, and I was a preppy. I wore like, you know, it was crazy. I wore like J. Crew and all this stuff, and I was on a homecoming court. And I honestly think this is what I said to the guy last night. I was like, I'm not interested in really being goth or a preppy, but it was the first time in my life when I realized like I'm not an actor, but I'm definitely interested in character, you know?
Yeah. No, wait. How did goth manifest for you?
And did you use the famous tool guy liner?
Yeah, like for sure. And also I painted my nails and wore chokers and like had like a whole different kind of wardrobe, I guess. I wore like a lot of 9 Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson t-shirts and like big pants.
Oh my God, scary.
It was scary. It was just like very, I don't know, 1999. I don't know.
Were you OTYF and were you OTYP? Were you out to your parents and were you out to your friends?
I mean, I had to be. I was such a big fag. Like, I honestly just, like,
Yeah,
everybody
but you were
knew.
into character. Then you weren't that into character.
Well,
Or you could have pulled it off.
I still talked the way I do. So everybody knew that I was gay, but I did come out. This is really funny. I came out to my mom first, and I swear to God, this is not even like a joke. She said to me, but you liked Madonna.
You're like, exactly.
That's the point. That's exactly the point. Like, none of us really want to fuck Madonna, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it was weird. Like, I started a gay straight alliance, so that made me come out at school. This is so weird. I was having this conversation just last night. And yeah, like I was,
and I remember every word.
and you remember everything that happened after.
It was a date. It was a date.
For Catherine, it was a date.
I forget. Did we kiss?
I'm not going there.
Oh my God,
he doesn't kiss and tell.
Did I go there?
Good for you.
If you want.
Yeah,
Only if you want.
I mean,
Only
it was cute.
No one listens. No, hey, listen, no one listens to this.
The The only reason I don't want to say anything is because he was so much younger than me, and I feel like people already think like, oh, Alex, like blah blah blah. And I feel like this is the first time too that I'm thinking about my age in this way. I honestly because of straight people. Like, I don't think it's because of gay people. I think straight people have like ruined this. This discourse on age gap is so bad.
I know. It's so funny. One of the bits I'm thinking about posting is about age gap.
What like on your show?
Yeah, it's just like this. I've just talked about because I didn't come out till I was 25, and I just do a joke where I'm like, don't even bother if you're 25, you're thinking about coming out. Wait 18 years. People want old, they want young. No one wants in between. The olds want the young, youngs want the old. They mix and match. Like no one wants. It's very narrative driven. Like no one wants to have sex with a 36-year-old. Like what story are we even telling?
What'd you do before 25, Pat?
Whatever I felt like. The opposite of that. I just was like a bundle of nerves. It's funny, I'm writing a memoir and essays right now, and so I'm like revisiting a lot of old chapters of my life. It's so interesting, and it's I just someone in that actually it's the one that I sent in that I was like, because I've been really struggling, and like it's so funny because I know that I'll put it out like 100 copies or so, it won't matter, but it will have ruined 3 years of my life. And so
welcome to writing poetry.
Yeah. So it's just like a funny relationship I have with it, and like and I guess I just want to like get whatever that means, and like I haven't been always loving what I've been producing, and like so but this one I sent in that I did really like, and I was like, I wish they could all feel like this, and it was like it was sort of that time period of my life. I was like at UCB doing improv. I was like working this weird office job, and I was like, and I came out, and it was like such a strange moment. And I was like just about to go truly off the deep end of like drugs and alcohol. And it was like, I don't know. It just was such a specific time. I was such a different version of myself. But that's, I don't know. I don't know what I was like. I was really confused. Yeah.
But you were, when I'd seen you perform, were you already out then when I saw you light up the stage?
Yes, that was probably
when
like
I saw
in the
you
first
light
year
up the
though.
night.
That was probably when it was, I bet you saw, I think you saw
I'll
my
never
witch,
forget when I
you
saw
saw my
Pat.
witch cage match, which was my second UCB team. I got put on I famously got put on an all-girls team like the week after I came out. It was hard for me. And that was my first one. It was like we did terrible. That team did so bad. But like and then in the next shuffle, I got on this team called Witch with people I really liked, and like, but then I was just like off to the right. I just was like always drunk and always on drugs. It's like didn't breathe a sober breath. And like that's that show when you saw me, probably, Catherine.
Well, you lit up the night.
I think it was my birthday.
With the help of the amazing tools, as Mother God would say, of drugs and alcohol. I love my tools.
Yeah.
Do you guys know I've had a cold for 3 weeks? Can you imagine?
No.
Oh my God, I've had one for 2 weeks. I read your Substack.
So what's going on?
I don't know what's going on, but it's terrible. I keep coughing. I'm surprised I'm not coughing
Is your
now.
cough rattly cough? Yeah, exact. Something's
going on.
Something's.
Catherine, are you putting out a Substack every week?
So I just decided that I'm doing that again.
Shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, announcement time. As of April, I'm doing a weekly Substack, and I'm starting to charge in May. So buckle up. Join me if you want to support me holistically as an artist.
There's a chance I'm going to join you in that in the next like 2 months.
I just think, there's so little we can control in this town, and if I can make something every week that excites me at least a little and get a little bit of money for it, then that fucking rocks.
Yeah, totally. It rocks and rolls like Josie.
Well, it rocks and rolls. We're lucky. Alex, are you gonna come to the Burger King writing club?
I saw that you're doing it with Matt. I would love to.
Yeah.
Where is it Burger King, and why does he do it at a Burger King?
I don't know, but I'll send you an
Is it
email.
like-
Who is it?
It's Matt Starr.
Matt
He's
Starr.
a poet. He works for Substack.
Matt Starr from UCB. Like I would know him from UCB.
Oh no, different. How are there two? I think it's a different Matt Starr.
Matt Starr, who's straight.
He is straight,
He
right?
is straight. The Substack one is straight.
But
I think it's a different. I think it is a different one still.
Does he
and
have
there's
dark
still
hair and wear all black? And
No,
Okay.
that's
It's
you.
not that
That's you. The
one.
first 2 years of high school. Not everyone's got.
So were you
no.
Did you have crushes in high school? Were you dating? Were you kissing?
Was I dating? I did not have a boyfriend. Oh my
Same.
God, wait. My first kiss is so weird was I had a summer job in a movie theater and the guy who was my manager was like my first kiss and it was in the bathroom. So
Oh.
scandalous.
Naughty.
Yeah, a lot of bees I'm finding had their first kiss with like the manager at their like job, like that, at their food service job.
What
A
can I
lot of gays had
say?
their first kiss with their manager at their food service job.
I like power.
Yeah. I had an electric kiss with a coworker at one of my first jobs in New York, and he was younger than me. Topical. And
Captain, stop ruining age gap like the rest of the shades.
well, I thought it was like he was I think 20 and I was 23, and I was like, this is insane. I was like, this is
Totally.
illegal.
Yeah. Wait, so
Anyways.
Alex, wait, you said off before we started that you know a lot about astrology. Or Catherine said you know a lot about astrology.
Catherine said that.
Catherine said
Well, he
that.
runs
and
Astro
you-
Poets. He runs Astro Poets with Dorothea Lasky.
Yeah, it's we have a book actually that we're working on that's going to come out, I don't know, in the next 2 years sometime called Love Signs, and it's about every astrological match in the zodiac, and we sort of go through it and have a chapter on each and
So
all of that. It's so
fun.
fun.
Do you know as a Scorpio like who I should be with?
Yeah, I do.
Who should I be
do.
with? Like, what signs work for me?
Well, it's so
These are
funny
the- yeah.
listening to you describe your situation that you were describing before we went on of like what happened to you, etc. I think that Scorpios are typical. So you are very analytical, and I think you need to be with someone who's like a little like more chill. But I think the thing with Scorpios that's really hard is like you guys definitely present at times as chill, but it's like totally inner war. Whereas like for example me, I'm like a Sag. Everything's on the surface, so like nobody would think I'm chill. I think you should like a great sign for you would be, well, your water sign, like brothers and sisters, Pisces and Cancers are always going to be people that you relate to on an emotional level. But I
Yeah.
think that like if you want like romance, like emotional and just other stuff to work, which what else is there other than emotional? But
I think lately I've had Virgo, I've had Scorpio.
I
I've
wouldn't
had
advise to be
Pisces.
with Virgo or Scorpio. Pisces, Cancer, but I also think that Earth signs like Taurus would be really interesting for you. That's a really
What month is that?
That's May and
May.
April.
Okay. Oh my God. So I'll look for anyone doing a birthday. And I'll be really on the lookout for happy birthday Instagrams this month.
Yeah, literally. But also, you know, I think that you would do really well too with the Capricorn. They're like super strong and like very like assertive.
Yeah, I need someone to be a little bit assertive, I think.
Mitra's Capricorn. You should be with Mitra.
Well, yeah, but maybe if she's ever back on the market.
Let me tell you this. I haven't said this to anyone. So I dated a Taurus for 3 years. He was really into spooky stuff. And I had forgotten that like 3 years ago for like his birthday or something, I had planned a trip to to tour an asylum upstate. Okay.
3 years ago. You were 2 years into your relationship with Brian. You planned it.
Sorry, you know what I'm saying. Like, I guess, wow. I guess like 9 years ago.
Go my ex to
Whatever.
asylum.
But I had forgotten many years ago. I did this.
Yes.
I'd forgotten, and then this week I got an email from the asylum, and it said, the headline was, it was Extravagosta. Celebrate Easter at the haunted asylum. Extravagosta. Have you ever heard a better phrase?
That's amazing.
So there's an Easter egg hunt, and there's ghosts, and it's at the asylum.
This podcast is brought to you in part by another podcast called Sorry I Missed This. As if finding the perfect relationship wasn't already hard enough, you know it and I know it. Actually maintaining a healthy one can become a beast of its own too, especially when your brain is making it harder.
And that's why we here at Seek Treatment are dying to tell you about a new podcast you have to check out. It's called Sorry I Missed This, your everything guide to dating, relationships, and ADHD.
Sorry I Missed This is unraveling the fascinating nuances of relationships and how to navigate them when you're dealing with ADHD, like how people pleasing can make a breakup even more excruciating, why touch can feel like something we're putting up with, and why we change our interests based on the person we're dating. I checked out a few episodes of Sorry I Missed This, and it was so relatable. I really connected with the host, Kate Osborne, and just as a single person out on the town who definitely has some neurodivergent tendencies, I really felt less alone, and it was a really nice, reaffirming listen.
Totally. To listen to Sorry I Missed This, search for Sorry I Missed This in your podcast app. That's Sorry I Missed This.
Are you still with your boyfriend that I met at that reading?
Yeah.
Yes, and he is an Aries, right?
Yeah, and we're going to get married.
That just makes total sense. And
Really?
He's so heaven. You loved him. He's
I
so
loved
good.
him. Leo Aries. Also, we talked about like Formula One, and I pretended to like know things, and he just like knew that I
Yeah.
didn't, but didn't care.
Wow.
It's a huge part of my life now, hearing about Formula One. But yeah, we've been together 6 years.
Wow,
That's so
I can't imagine.
capital L.
That keeps like shaming me for not being married yet. I'm like,
I'm not. No,
okay, you're
first
like
of
my
all,
grandmother.
I didn't. I just said what I used to say. When are you going to get married? Because I wanted to go to an event. But now I stopped. But now you're bringing it up.
If I could guess, it'll happen soon.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
I wonder how I'll do it. Maybe you should do it.
I would never do it. And I hope he does it complete private, no one else around. If there's any ceremony or any like spectacle to it, I'll say no.
Really?
Yes.
Why? I don't believe you because you're a Leo. I feel like you'd like a little spectacle.
I guess I feel like for me, marriage is the same thing as like jeans. It's like I'm being sort of normal when I'm wearing jeans, and it's like I'm normal when I'm getting married, and
love
everything
this
else
for
in my
you.
life is so
What
fabulous.
if it's this? You're walking through like an event, and
Okay.
Delicate comes on the whatever, and you're like, oh, I love this
No.
song, Delicate. You're like, wait, this is like a cover or something. This is like an acoustic cover. The crowd's part. Taylor is there. She's singing Delicate. She walks over you. You're like, and Brian's not supposed to be, but Brian's not with you. And then all of a sudden, Brian walks in. You're like, what's he doing here? Taylor is singing Delicate. She smiles at you. She winks at you. Brian gets down on one knee. Everyone's going crazy. You would say no.
Yeah, because I would say, Brian, stop getting in the way of my meeting with Taylor. It has nothing to do with you.
But he got her there.
I want like lazy Sunday morning, like we're like in bed and like we're having a bagel, and it's like, hey, like let's do this thing.
Yeah, like Mark for our previous guest.
Oh yeah, I want exactly like Mark.
Yeah.
I want to marry Mark.
Mark style.
Okay, anyways. Wait, so Alex, so that's who you were. You went to grad school. You moved to New York. What was it like when you first moved to New York? What was the vibe? What was the scene? What was the energy?
Yeah, what was the year?
The year was 2007, and the vibe was okay. This is really interesting too because I write about this sort of in a section of the novel I'm working on. I feel like I got to New York at an interesting time. It was the summer that Paris Hilton was on the cover of the Post for going to jail. It was the year.
Oh
it was
my
the year that
gosh.
Britney shaved her head. It was also the summer.
Wow.
The summer that Lindsay kept on crashing her like bend in the Hollywood Hills, and I was like, something is going on in the culture clearly. But it was sort of like a year before the iPhone came out, and the first one. And so there was like a year and a half, 2, 3, because like not everybody had an iPhone at first, where I feel like things weren't as like, you still felt like free. Like you could go somewhere and like there wasn't a phone in your face and not everyone was going to
know.
story anything. So there was like this sense of like, it wasn't like the 90s or something, but I definitely didn't feel like I feel now where, now when I'm out, I'm like, who's around? Like, I can't say certain things. Like, when people are taking photos or whatever, I'm like, are you taking a video? So I feel like what I didn't even know I'd miss this, was like the sort of inhibition that I feel like I had in New York for like a good 5, 6, 7 years. And then around 2013, 14, I think I was like, oh, it's over. Like something else has taken over, and now
That was literally when I landed.
really,
That was when I landed.
yeah.
And you were like, something sucks.
Something sucks. Yeah. But I mean, like, it doesn't suck that bad, but it's just like, do I feel like New York is as free as it was? No. But I think everybody says that. So I don't want to sound like an old person that's like, New York was so much cooler.
Well, everywhere was so much cooler. Like, whatever.
But even Instagram before stories was completely different.
Oh, different.
Yeah. And also,
like stories ruined everything.
Phones didn't necessarily. It's like I remember when the rhetoric started of like we're all addicted to our phones. I remember watching an interview where someone was like, we can never be alone with ourselves anymore. We always have our phone. But I remember thinking, well, I have a phone and it's not like that for me. And now it's like, it is like that for me. And I'm just like, is there any way to kind of throw back the hands of time? Like, can we get back?
I agree that stories ruined everything. And I mean, like Twitter was a different place in 2010, 11, 12 too. It was sort of like you were tweeting in your bedroom into the void. Like you were just like, I'm eating a croissant. It's like, what? Now people are like, posting like, I don't know, like links to things and being serious. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just feel like there's less play in New York now and there's less play on the internet. And I think like all of us are creative people. You know that like creativity and good things come out of play. And if people are afraid to fail, then like, they're not going to be able to make that really great thing.
Yeah, it is a bummer.
100%. I feel like more and more, I'm like so scared to try anything new or write anything new or say anything new.
Well, you're doing it though
like,
on your Substack. That's really cool. You're doing that.
Oh, thank you. That's why part of why I was like, I'm going to relaunch this and just care less.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of precious? That's in the new name of the Substack.
Yeah.
The opposite of precious.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah.
So Alex, are you dating a lot? I was going to say.
Yeah, like why I was hesitant to talk about it earlier even was that like, I feel like after my last relationship, which ended a year and 4 months ago or something like that. Top of last year, I have not been dating.
How long was the last one?
A year.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot for me, honestly.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for this podcast.
It's just a lot in general. It's like, I also feel like I was having dinner with one of my college friends like maybe 3 months ago, and I don't know that many people from college still that I keep up with. And she was like, I've always thought about you that you are someone who like doesn't need to be in a relationship. And I was like, oh. And I was thinking about that, like just being 40, like now I do see men in a way as taking away from my creative time. And I wish that someone would come along that makes me feel like I'm being enhanced and not like, oh, you can't do your thing. You can't have your space. So maybe I'm just waiting for that. But I can't do the whole in-between thing where it's like, obsessing over texts and like, like I can't do that.
It really robs you of yourself. You really realize you've betrayed yourself. Quickly.
And I mean, that as you're doing it, but it's like, it's so depleting afterwards. And I feel like before I could do it when I was in my late 20s, but now I'm just sort of like, we don't have time,
Yeah, I know we don't have time.
Are you a big routine person, Alex? Like, do you have a set kind of vibe for the day?
I get in routines sporadically and I stick to them. And if I have a goal, like for example, I have to turn in my novel to my agent on Monday. And so all I'm going to be doing, today and like the rest of the weekend is like, I don't care about working out. I don't care about hanging out with people. I'm just in front of like my laptop and finishing this. So I go through spurts of like a deadline or a thing that I'm doing, but I do have a routine in the sense of like, I do write every day. Like when I quit my 9-to-5 job like a while ago, my one rule was like, you just have to write every day. And some days it's like really bad. And then other days, like I feel really up to it. Mostly like if I wake up and go out and even walk for 10 minutes, like my day will be much better. But I always forget that. I'm always like scrolling in bed.
I know. I know. It's impossible to leave my apartment.
For your right everyday rule, how long counts?
Doesn't have to be that long. When I say I write every day, it's like, well, now it's long because I'm at the end of like another book. Before,
but if you're in a place where it's like there's nothing necessarily to do, you're just like, I have to keep the habit alive. And
45 minutes.
Yeah,
45 minutes. And for me, 45 minutes is like a lot. If I'm working on fiction, it's not, but like it's a lot because what's good about 45 minutes is you can come back the next day and know that you did something the day before and you feel like a kind of continuity. Whereas if I didn't like work for like a week and I work for 3 hours one day, I have less of an idea of what I did was good or not because it's not a conversation with the day before, And
you have to like read back everything again and like and then all of a sudden your whole 45 minutes is like just a rereading what you've already done and you're like, okay, well now I'm tired from that or something.
I feel like that's my entire creative life because all I do every day is email and then like once a month I'll write something, but every other day I'm just emailing.
Who are you emailing?
I have no idea. I have no idea what's happening.
She's
But I'm
emailing
constantly
asylums having extravagostas.
yeah, my extravagosta inbox. This is like there's a deluge of emails from asylums.
I'm so bad. I don't know if I'll ever
I'm always
change.
doing admin.
Lately,
I'm so
like,
tired of it.
I'm like, do you think I'll ever change? It's like that. Wait, one of my favorite
New
runs.
segment. Do you think we'll ever change?
One of my favorite runs is like that run in Bridesmaids. Of like, do you think people change?
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
people change, but I don't think they do. Well, they don't.
They don't.
but
I think about
they
that
do.
all the
It's so
time.
funny. Like, you know,
No, they don't really.
I'm gonna finally say something. Rose Byrne brought it in that exchange.
She brought the house downwards.
She had chops in that. She was,
Do you guys know that you both like to run?
oh, I didn't know you ran, Alex.
Yeah, doesn't everyone run that? No?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Are you gonna watch Grand Slam track this weekend?
No, I'm not. My sport is tennis and a little
Oh,
bit of
is it
Formula One.
tennis?
Yeah, but I
A
feel
lot of gay guys are into tennis.
Can I plug something tennis related?
please.
The challengers.
One of my dear imagine maybe you guys have to see this movie. No, my dear friend and former roommate Giddy Nathan is writing a book about tennis.
Oh,
Because he's a sports journalist.
Is he gay?
No,
Oh,
he actually just had
you
a
had
baby.
a straight roommate.
What's his book?
You had
Wait,
a
I need to
straight
find the
guy
title.
roommate.
Ready for this? Changeover: A Young Rivalry and a New Era of Men's Tennis. It's going to be published in 2025
by who?
by Simon and Schuster.
Oh, wow.
Simon and Schuster. He's kind of the best writer ever, so you're going to love
Oh,
it.
it's about new rivalries in men's tennis. I already love that.
Yeah, and the cover's really cute. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
These are gay guys I know who love tennis. Brandon Scott Jones, Alex, and this person I know called Paul.
That's cute. I love that.
Isn't that cute?
You know what's
He's
really funny?
so
I mean,
great.
men's tennis I'm not surprised that there's gay guys who like men's tennis now because it's gone through a renaissance. And to be completely vain, it's because the men have gotten hotter.
But
So-
weren't they always hot? Wasn't that always their thing?
Alex, first of all, what do you think about podcasts?
Yeah.
I like them, but I feel like I have less of a connection to them than other people. Like the people who feel very strongly about them, like listen to them a lot. I don't listen to them a lot, but the ones that I have listened to, like my friend has a Sex and the City one. And then obviously I've listened to Red Scare. Like they don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
They don't
But
bother me.
you think-
Podcasts, they don't bother me
But
at all.
ours is, but I think there's a difference. I do think there's a difference between a podcast that started in like 2018 and a podcast that
Yes.
started like
Say that.
in 2024. Don't you think there's a little bit of a difference?
No,
between those
totally. Yours
things?
started in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally, and even then, I remember thinking, "Wow, our podcast's over," and I had no idea.
I know.
I
but
had no
there were
idea.
boons. Like 2016 to 2018 was a boon.
Oh, it was so magical.
And they were like similar. It was old internet. It was like you were just having fun. You weren't trying to be in a studio. You weren't trying to
You
be
weren't saying cut that out every second.
Well,
you weren't doing video, and that changes everything.
Totally. And now it's like it's studio, it's CNN, it's like, it's like glam, and it's like it's so different.
Wait,
the
now
podcasts that
all
have started.
podcasts have video?
Yeah.
Many.
Wow. Okay.
It's rare not to. Like you're
It's,
going
like,
to be
bad
on
not
screen.
to.
You're going to be on screens across America.
Wow, incredible. But wait, why? Is that because that's like just another way to get people to listen?
Because of Instagram, I guess.
And pay, I guess, and
I
clips.
see. But like Red Scare still doesn't do like video.
Do they do no video element?
Yeah, it's all no video. They don't even edit. I feel like the thing about what you guys are saying about 2016 to 2018 that's interesting is that's when I started listening to them, and it felt like they were just smoking cigarettes and talking,
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
feel like no one had a point. No one had a list of things they were going to
Yeah.
talk about.
And we've carried that.
We've carried that mantle. We've never had a point. We've never
we never will.
point, and we never
We
will.
never will. And if you want to hear a point, then you shouldn't be listening to this.
If
Period.
That's all I'll
you're
say.
waiting, if every episode you tune in, you're like, I could tell this is the one where they do the point. It ain't gonna happen. Not today, not tomorrow.
Not in this life, love. All right, so who are you now, and who do you want to be? You're still a little bit bothered. Do you want to be unbothered?
I'm really bothered. I mean, I don't think you can be. I don't
Really?
think you can be unbothered living in New York City.
Do you know anyone who's unbothered outside of New York City?
Rich people.
Yeah.
Like really rich people, like, when you're bothered, like thinking about like, God, should I go to like this house this week, or like, should I do this thing this week? Like that
I
kind.
know.
I would love to be bothered like that with that kind of commitment, but
People in the triangle are unbothered. The
yeah.
triangle is my new word for Manhattan, Beverly Hills, Palm Beach.
Wait, what?
Manhattan, Beverly Hills,
triangle?
Palm Beach. There's just
I don't get what Palm Beach is.
It's just part of the triangle.
It's pretty rich.
It's just part of the triangle.
Is that's Epstein, right?
No, it's Palm Beach is like, isn't Palm Beach like the political super rich like place in like Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that where Epstein literally was?
Or was he on? Well, then what's Star Island?
That's different. Star,
Where?
yeah, that's isn't that like near Miami?
That's Miami. But
So you're telling me that Beverly Hills and Palm Beach are what appeals to you?
Me?
no, I'm saying I'm saying those people are unbothered, but not in a way in a way that's aspirational. Like I don't
I
want to
just
be
heard
that.
someone described as a high net worth individual. I go,
Wow.
You mean a rich person?
Yeah.
A high net worth individual?
Who described who is that?
I can't say.
Yeah, I absolutely can.
I have to protect this person's identity. I know, unbothered. That's what I think. Maybe if I get a dog and have a baby, I'll be like way less bothered.
I
No,
think
you'll be
that's
more
right.
bothered.
I think if you had a dog, not a dog and a baby.
I think having a baby
I think
is
I'm gonna do it
like
both the same day. I'm gonna adopt a dog the day I give birth. Just like, and I'm like,
I think that
if I-
having a kid. Don't you think that would be the most triggering experience of your entire life? No, I'm not discouraging it at all. I'm saying like
Chapel Road over here.
I could never. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you would spend your entire life you would love it so much you would spend your entire life worrying that bad things were going to happen to it.
I know.
And then it would be rude to you for no reason. And then it would move away. And you'd be cool, nice meeting you.
I know. Nice meeting you. Dropping your kid off for college, be like, nice meeting you. I don't know. I'm gonna reassess at 35.
Yeah.
How old are you?
33.
Oh my God, I wish I was 33.
Do you?
Yeah.
But I'm woman, so 33 is basically 50.
Well, yeah, well, I'm gay, so 40 is basically 90.
It depends, but no, it depends what kind of gay. But it depends what kind of
I
gay.
disagree.
You could be that kind of gay that's like daddy if you wanted to be.
You know what's really frustrating right now is that I feel like when I say I'm 40, people are like, no, you're not 40. You're like, giving me some younger age. And then when
Me too.
And exactly. And so I'm in this weird middle ground where it's like, I can't really own the fact that I'm older because I'm not giving daddy, but then I'm also not giving young. So I'm like in the wasteland. Like nobody wants it. It's horrible.
Me too. I know that's what my famous new bit is about.
Ooh, I think you should post
Nobody
that one.
wants
You should post
this.
that one because
Is that what that show's
good.
about?
Yeah, nobody wants to. Yeah.
You're the star of season 2.
Alex, do you want kids?
I do not want kids. No.
Yeah. It would be so hard. Like, think of everything we do now. Tidying up. Tidying up, trying to read a little bit.
And also
doing
think
our
about-
sex,
I feel like
and then
if I-
also there's a kid. Meanwhile, there's a kid.
I think I would also like...
Meanwhile, uptown, there's a kid.
Yeah. Well, I was tidying up downtown. My kid was going to school uptown.
What were you saying?
what was I saying? Oh, I feel like also if I had a kid, like I would be obsessed with their socials, and that seems really unhealthy. Like I would like want to know like what they're doing. Like it just seems like a horrible time to bring up a child into the world because there's.
Did y'all watch Adolescence?
No,
should
I
I?
want to.
What is it? I don't know it.
I mean, it's absolutely devastating. It's one of the best television shows I've ever seen in my whole life. It's about exactly what we're talking about. It's completely will just wreck you to your core, but it's a must watch.
It's about
Wait,
like
Catherine.
it's about like straight boys, right? And toxic masculinity and like social media and like I know about it. I feel like that would wreck me and make me not want to have kids.
Now, Catherine, remember this? I don't know if I should say it, but remember the screenshot I sent you of my DM? This person who responded to my DM.
Which one?
About my table.
Oh, yes, you have to share that. It's amazing.
Okay,
Tell Alex.
Okay, Alex, did you watch the Grey's Anatomy doc?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
But do you know what we're talking about? The scammer.
Mm-mm.
oh.
This woman, who wrote for Grey's
But do you
Anatomy a
think
long
she
time.
listens to the podcast?
I hope so. Shout out. Hey, girl,
Shout
what's
out,
up?
yeah.
Thank you for the amazing documentary.
Yeah.
She lied about having cancer and then would write storylines about her fake illness. And she deceived people for like decades. And the documentary is amazing. It's a must watch.
And she was private on Instagram. I requested her. She followed back.
Pat decided to follow her after watching after watching the documentary, and now she's been DMing with him.
That's
She DM'd me
awesome.
one time. No, here's another thing. Guess who else
There's
followed me back? This is like the grossest section of the podcast.
Who?
I followed the woman from Hard Truths.
Oh, Marianne
Jean Baptiste.
Jean Baptiste.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a
know.
huge get. Do you think she'll come to the podcast?
I should ask her, right?
That'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wonder if she does podcasts. She's too fabulous.
Unacceptable.
Pansy.
She lives
Wait, what was I
in-
going to say?
Did you see Hard Truth, Alex?
I didn't see Her Truths. Did I?
It's so good.
Fabulous film. One of the only good films I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's
Wait, what was I going to say?
unacceptable. Everyone's trying to figure it out in real time in front of everyone on Instagram. And that is what's so scary about being
And that's
alive.
why no one's figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know. I don't get it.
I feel like what would happen if like all of us like mandated by the government were told you can't post a story or a status for a week. Plus,
Well, I'm about to get to the chapter in Artist Way where I'm not allowed to do reading and I'm going to say social media or watch TV. And I'm just going to truly be myself. It's going to be incredible.
I think though that there's like this really torturous period of like when you start doing that where you're like, this is horrible. But then if you get out on the other end, it's like detoxing, you know? I feel like I was in that before my book came out because I was like, I'm not going to do shit because then I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. And now when I log on, I just feel sick in the sense of like,
Yep.
I don't know if what I'm doing is cringe or not cringe. I don't even want to do it anymore. And then it's just, I don't like, what would happen if we all just were told you can only do it from this point to this point? Like, I don't think that there should be
I
rules,
know.
but people are just really crazy.
I know there should be rules. George Severus had that tweet where it was like, everyone thinks they're going to be the first person to post on Instagram and not humiliate themselves.
Oh my God. I know. I saw some amazing meme, incredible setup that was just like, oh God, I'm not going to get the phrasing right, so I'm going to save it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Do y'all have a crush of the week? Person, place, thing, idea,
Oh, God.
concept.
It's so funny. I think that God is trying to teach me one of his little lessons because like I'm like really resolute and like I want to focus just on myself, but I do not want in any capacity is to be carried away again by a crush that like, you know, I don't want to fall into something where it's like going to take up my attention. And what I know for sure is that I'm sort of powerless over that. So like I have made that decision and there has been something that kind of served up into my orbit now that's like, this could be this next one if I want it to be. Do you know what I mean? And so
that's
I'm
exciting.
going to embrace myself by not making that person my crush of the week. And I'm going to
good for you.
instead make my crush of the week be something that I like to call my new Carhartt work jacket that I got as a wrap gift from Hacks Season 4.
That's awesome.
That's so evolved. I don't know if I can top that. That's incredible.
My crush of the week is my Amazon ski suit because I've been skiing all week. I'm getting so much better. I'm getting really fast. I'm feeling really powerful. I'm feeling really grateful for my body and for the mountain ranges of Colorado. I'm full of gratitude. Gratitude is my religion and gratitude equals abundance. Okay. And let me say this. Okay. So then my ski suit from Amazon.com has served me for about 5 winters now. It keeps me so warm. It was like about $100. It looks incredible on the mountain. I get complimented constantly. And I also really love making small talk on a chairlift because my whole face and body is covered. And so I can really just, as Alex would say, become a new character. And I can just say whatever I want when they ask me about myself.
I
All
love
right,
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't even know if I have a crush of the week. I saw, but like, I guess it's the performance that I have a crush on. I saw Paul Mescal in Streetcar really recently, and I think it's a really hard role to play, Stanley in Streetcar Named Desire, because of Brando, and I think he just did an amazing job. And I think I've always been in awe of actors because, like I said, like I've always wanted to sort of be in character, but I don't think I've ever wanted to be an actor. But he just does such a good job in that play, and it's like such a hard thing to pull off. So I was just watching him and being like, wow, I would love to have something in my creative career that is the epitome of just like the kind of star performance. I don't think that like writers have that, but you know, like what Pat was saying earlier of like, if you make something significant. So I was sort of really artistically crushing on that. And I mean, along the same lines of like Pat talking about how there's someone dropped into his orbit who like you could sort of go all in for. I sort of think I have that too, but I just think that I know better now than to do that.
Yeah.
And I also feel like as I'm doing that, I'm sort of like, this again, don't do this.
I know. It's like I will say it's like your brain can get so hijacked, and after a certain amount of time, especially if you do like a couple back to back, you do start to miss yourself so much, and you're like, I actually just want to exist in my own brain and body for the foreseeable.
Totally.
Do you feel
It's
hot?
powerful when you get over that hump and you can be yourself within a relationship. But it takes over a year, I think.
And I think it's like specifically harder for some people than others.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel hot today?
I am in such a strange space with my dysmorphic attitudes where like, I think Jake said this when he was on the podcast where he said he had a specific kind of body dysmorphia where he loved how he looked without a shirt, but like every shirt he felt like fit him so weird and he looked so crazy. Like I will say for Dynasty Typewriter, for all they do right, I love to perform there, they can take a normal looking person and they can go straight into Dr. Frankenstein's lab with the pictures they take. And what comes out is the thing from the end of the substance. When you're photographed, when you could be Margaret Qualley,
Sure.
and you could walk out on Dynasty Typewriter stage, and the photos that they then post of story of you are truly the end of the substance.
It's the angle.
Yeah. So, and those are the videos I'm thinking about posting. So obviously that's at play too with this whole do I post, do I not post?
Release.
I mean, what's the
So
worst
my
that can happen?
answer is kind
Yeah.
of.
I do feel hot today, even though my hair is wet, which generally makes me feel unhot, but I'm about to dry it. So things could really turn around today.
I feel hot because I went back to being a brunette and everyone was like, no, you look great as a blonde. And you know what the truth is? Nobody at the end of the day looks that great as a blonde with blondes. So
Wow.
I agree. And I also think like when I see someone, a gay man, and this is not about you at all.
Say it. No, it's
Like,
true.
I just think like when I see a gay man who's gone blonde, I'm like,
What happened?
the calls coming from inside the house. Like there's something, what is it? What's the Denmark?
Something's rotten in the state of
Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. When I see a gay man who's gone blonde, I know for sure that something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And I call all my friends in Denmark and I say, please mark yourself safe. Mark yourself. If you're in Denmark, mark yourself safe because a gay man has gone blonde in New York.
All right. Well, that's basically it.
Are you mad at me?
You guys go buy ecstasy.
Yeah, go buy ecstasy. Oh, I thought you meant the drug.
Find us all on Substack and support us.
Yeah,
I want to start a
support.
Substack. You've inspired me, Catherine.
Yeah, get back in the
Pat,
groove,
why don't you
guys.
have one?
I had one for a bit and I was doing bad keeping up with it. And, I am doing a new thing because I'm doing the artist way. It says I'm doing it diligently. I've done it I did it 8 years ago pretty diligently. It was good for me, I thought. I've done it half-assed a couple times since then, and now I'm doing it and it's helping. But aside from morning pages, I've been doing this thing, but I'm not so consistent with it where I just type into my Google Doc every day and say what happened to me that day. And that's actually been really helpful. So I think once I start doing that, I'll get in the rhythm and then I could just pick and choose and I'll have to be the opposite of Precious. But
Totally.
whatever. But
Title
also, because I'm
episode.
working
Obviously, title of it.
I'm also working on this essay book. So it's I'm trying to engage with that kind of writing all day in this way that feels so high stakes that I'm
Well, I think it's hard to start something like a Substack when you're already working on a writing project long term. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing it because I don't have very much going on right now. And I say that with so much love towards myself, of course.
okay.
All right, yo.
Thank you
Are
guys
mad
for
at
having me.
No, I'm not. Are you mad at me?
No, not at all.
I know, we're not mad at you, Alex.
We're not mad at you. Thank you, Alex. We love you so
I
much.
love you guys.
you.
Thank you.
Treatment. If you're boring as fuck, seek treatment. If you're unlucky in love, seek treatment. If you just can't take a hint, well, seek treatment. With Kat and Pat.
That was a Headgum podcast.